Best Way in Sneakers podcast. We showcase the waviest females in the sneaker industry, community, and all things related. Today, I have a very special guest, somebody that some of you might recognize from campaigns with Nike. We have the one and only creative strategist, photographer, and stylist, Edie Dugdale.
Yes. Well, that makes me sound good, doesn't it?
You are. To be honest, I could have given you a very long intro, but I was like,
Really?
you have done so much that even I
Stop.
can't.
Make me
I
blush.
can't remember it.
Yeah, me neither. What do I even do?
Yeah, what do you do? Let's get into it.
So I guess like when I first introduced myself, normally I'd always go with like I'm a photographer. Just because that's kind of like I guess my bread and butter. Kind of in regards to like that's kind of my end goal of what my full-time job would be. Obviously part of that as well, got into styling in more recent years, but that kind of came because I was like shooting a lot of my own stuff. And then with that, I guess there's like elements of like creative direction that then fell quite nicely into styling. And I mean, I've always been like into fashion. I studied fashion at uni. And I guess my own style of like, I hate to say it, but like streetwear and sportswear, like it's just always been my like what I wear and like what I know about and my passion.
Why do you hate to say it?
I don't know. It's
you
just
feel
like cringe,
it's just the thing in the moment now. Yeah,
literally, like it's but yeah. So I guess like more with, I'm a bit funny about calling myself a stylist sometimes because it's like there's a lot of people that are like insane at styling, like kind of eclectic styles, whereas I'm very much like I'm in my box. Like I can style well with like what I like and what I know and the brands that I'm into. And obviously, I guess it works quite well in fashion at the moment where there has been that like split of like streetwear becoming like high end and fashion and stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of like sick stylists out there that would actually, I'd be like, yeah, you're a stylist. Whereas like, I'm like, yeah.
No.
I don't know.
if people are hiring you as a stylist, you're a stylist.
I do style, but like I said, like I don't know, I'm selling myself short, I think. But
very much.
I literally had this chat at a shoot and I was like, I wouldn't really say I was like at a music video styling and I was like, I'm not really a stylist, you know, like because I just think there's a lot of people that like that is their shit, do you know what I mean? And I think that like, yeah, that's why I always lead with, like I am a photographer because that is why I'm here, do you know what I mean? But yeah, styling's part of it. And then yeah, creative strategy now as well. So I guess my like full-time, well, it's not full-time, it's part-time, but like where I am like Monday to Thursday is obviously working at Gorilla, which is like a creative agency. So yeah, I'm doing strategy there.
Do you want to just let people know and also let myself know? So what comes under the umbrella of being a creative strategist? Like what is your day-to-day job? What does it entail?
So it's like a mix, really. I guess essentially you come in from like a strategic point. So that kind of covers like anything from like briefs to planning content to like planning like a retail space to doing like just actual strategy for brands. So for example, like the clients that we're working with at the moment are Jordan, Sneakers, the North Face, Champion, like we've done Less, we've done like a whole range of kind of lifestyle and like fashion brands. But then it might be like Aston Martin or do you know what I mean? So it's like it's very like mixed between the type of briefs and the type of clients that you work with.
Yep.
But for me per se, obviously like the Jordan stuff that I got brought on for, we're kind of doing like a whole like I guess strategy for like part of their brand, and then within that comes like coming up with new franchises, like content planning. But then like the other half of my day I'll be planning, like we're opening a store in Shanghai for the North Face, so then it's like kind of doing the strategy of like what each floor on that store would look like and what would happen in there. But yeah, it's a mixture. Like I'll go from literally like planning something for the sneakers app to then like just planning actual like shoots for someone, and then it might also just be like writing like a brand's playbook if they're having like a rebrand. So yeah, it's like a mixture of everything, I'm not gonna lie.
But a lot.
It's a lot, but it's sick though. Like the agency that I'm with is like big up Gorilla, obviously. Like so Lee's obviously the creative director there. met them through doing a shoot with Timberland, and then they kind of had this position, and like I'd kind of done strategy in the past. So it fitted in really nicely. And then I feel like now we're like we're getting going, and like we want to just get this agency to take over. Do you know what I mean? Just like build the clients, build the briefs, like build the projects, just get us everywhere from like London to
the world.
Do you know what I mean?
How long has that gorilla been going?
It was actually the birthday the other day. I think it was the 8th birthday. But yeah, I'm probably not the best person to tell the story of. I don't want to like say it and like I'm
interested to
yeah, no, they've been about. Yeah, like they've done a lot of work with like Nike and stuff in the past, and a whole array of brands. So
sick. So let's go back a bit.
Yes.
You started with fashion at uni. You mentioned. I also know you also studied music for a brief.
I did, yeah,
a brief
for a
period.
year.
So let's go through your journey and then talk kind of how you got to where you are now, because I think that I'm assuming that a lot of it was you built up just the knowledge through working like in the industry and stuff. So just take us back. Where did it all begin then for you?
So I'm from Bristol originally.
Okay. Yeah. You thought I was from Wales.
Yeah, you are Welsh. Like, I don't know.
I am Welsh. Sorry, guys, I've literally been lying this whole time.
I'm
Bristol,
from Bristol. Yeah. A lot of people never think it, but like I feel like I do. The accent's not there as much. Like my brother's like proper like Bristol, but yeah, obviously went to uni in Newcastle. So like, no, let me go back even. So I obviously born in Bristol. Was always into music. Like, remember when you was like a school kid and you had to write like what you wanted to do when you were older? Mine was always like, because I went to Glastonbury when I was like 6 weeks old.
Oh,
yeah, like
sick.
I grew up like around like music festivals. Like my parents are very like fashion, art, filmy. So yeah, that was very much from an early age kind of into like creativity, but specifically music. I just wanted to like my thing was like I want to perform on the pyramid stage at Glastonbury. Like that is just my goal from when I was like in school. Play guitar like was like my main instrument. But then like did a few like I could play like drums, keyboard, piano.
Can you still play these instruments?
Yeah, I could, but like I just haven't played. Like it's bad. Like sometimes I go home, I pick up my guitar, and I'm like, I can still do it. But like kind of stop that. But yeah, so I was like music. But then again, kind of like, I guess like fashion and stuff like that was always like, I love like writing. So I love like magazines and like just, shit like that really. But yeah, I went to college, like obviously studied stuff like film studies, music, obviously, English, and was like very much like, I'm going to do something around like whether it's journalism or be a like musician, like get me on the stage. But I was always so shy, like so I was like good at music, obviously, like got to a very high standard, but when it came to like performative side, like I'm very, very shy. Like I don't like, I'd be up there and I'd be like but like if I was like playing like in my home, I'd be like going like Ed Sheeran, do you know what I mean? But like it was, I think that inhibited me a bit. And then went to Newcastle Uni to study music, but the course was so classical. Like I was amongst like people that were like wizards on clarinet, or like if there was guys who played guitar, it was a very like, you know, like the rockers where they was like on their electric guitar, like just and I was literally like that with like Led Zeppelin, you know, stuff like that. Like, and I was just like, I just don't fit in here. So I was not very good. I wasn't really going to lectures. I wasn't like giving it my all. And I was just remember like ringing my mum and dad, and I was just like, listen, I want to like drop out. I want to do fashion instead. So then I was looking at coming to like LCF, and I was going to just like finish and then move to London and basically restart. But then I looked at Northumbria, obviously the other uni in Newcastle, and their fashion course, fashion communication, I did specifically because I was like writing and stuff for newspapers and doing like music features and stuff like that. So I was like kind of getting a lot more into, I guess, like the communication side of fashion
and the written side.
Yeah. And then I was just like, all right, cool, their course actually looks 30. I'd already signed like to get my house with my friends from Newcastle. I liked the city, and I was like, cool, let me just like swivel over.
Yeah.
And
What
then
did what did your parents say when you said that you weren't enjoying your course, you wanna
they were
leave?
like very much like they were like, do what makes you happy, and they could see that I was like, just if I kind of continue with music, I probably wouldn't have like been very successful with it, just because I wasn't really like giving it my all and stuff. So yeah, they were kind of like, do what makes you happy. But my mum was like, listen, if you're dropping out of uni, like you're getting a job and like you're like
Yeah.
sorting your life out. Like they were very much like, don't just drop out with no plan. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah. Like have a backup, or like at least take this time to figure out what you want to do, type of thing. No,
Yeah.
yeah, understandable. I think that's probably the best, smartest approach.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, it turned out good, because then like the first part of when I started doing fashion, I was still a bit like, I'm not really going in, like, you know, like all that uni stuff. But then it was when it was summer of the first year, and we kind of were like heavily recommended to do like an internship or whatever. And so I managed to come to London and do a internship at a magazine. And it was in that time that I would like actually first like picked up a camera, and then first started like
Sick.
seeing it from that side.
Yeah.
And like I just bought like a little, like, remember everyone was on like the Olympus point and shoots, like I bought like them.
Even I got one.
Yeah,
I
do you
couldn't
know what I
use
mean?
it.
I feel like everyone had one at like in like 2018 or whatever time it was. And yeah, like I was in London, and I was just like like, oh my god, I love London, like it's the best place ever. And I just like carry it around and just like take pictures of my friends and stuff. And then while I was at Boys by Girls magazine doing this like internship, I was obviously getting a lot of like just experience of like actually running a magazine. And then with that, you're like meeting models, you're going to events, you're kind of, I guess, like networking without networking.
Yeah.
And then like I came back from that summer to uni, and I was like, my lecturers were like, you're a completely different person, because they were like, wait, who actually are you? Because like I was never going in, and then suddenly I was there, and I was
didn't
like,
know you in this class.
you know what I mean?
Where
Like,
did you come
have you
from?
always been here?
No, it's sick. Was it just because like you were so confident, or because you came more into yourself?
Yeah, I think like I just started like knowing exactly what I wanted to do, and I saw almost like, I guess, a niche in it at that point where, you know, like we were like told to make like editorials and stuff at uni, like we had to like make our own kind of publications and stuff. And I guess there was a big thing of like fashion photography, whereas I kind of came in at that niche of being like, oh, I kind of want to shoot like real people doing like real things. And then I think because I believed in it and I was passionate about it, it then takes you from like 0 to 100, because it was like I didn't really have anything to like compare myself to.
Yeah.
And you know, like being in Newcastle at that point, I was probably like somewhat looking different to a lot of like
The people
girls
there, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it was like I knew myself, and then I think where you get older and you start to understand like knowing yourself, and I guess what we were saying earlier about like somewhat believing in yourself, it then, yeah, like nothing's really stopped. Like you can't be stopped, because it's like you're just doing what you like believe in. Do you know what I mean?
100%. I think it's like the energy which like you carry yourself with. I think that a lot of the time people can feel it, and like your energy can have a certain presence about it without you even having to like speak. And if people can see that you're very confident and comfortable in yourself, it can go like one of both ways. I think one way people can, you know, you're always going to have people that will hate on you or whatever, but on the other hand, I feel like a lot of the time it shows people like they're very confident in what they're doing. Like it doesn't, my opinion about them doesn't necessarily matter anyway. If they're doing something, they're probably gonna do it regardless of what I say, type of thing. But yeah, that's sick. So this a whole time then, so I'm guessing that you were, as you said, coming into yourself, you were dressing different to a lot of the average females that are around the northeast. So is that because you were just rocking your streetwear and stuff?
Yeah. I think that's what it is. Like, I don't know. For me, it's funny. Like, if you kind of look back at what I was wearing 10 years ago, like I probably would be wearing the same thing.
I love that.
Do you know what I mean? Though, so it's just like you just know, like, yeah. I guess it's about knowing yourself, and you know, I don't know. It's a funny one, because it's like back in the day when you was like wearing like TNs and stuff, and you'd have girls looking at you like, oh my god, like why does she come to the club in trainers, and like where's her heels, and like I've just never been like that. I've like always been, don't know, like my mum used to hate it. She'd be like, just wear a dress, Edie. And like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
I remember. So do you know Jolly? Did you ever go when you were in Newcastle? It's a club. It's like a bar.
Maybe, I feel like.
Um, it was quite new. I don't know. That's why I'm trying to think. I don't know if it was open in 2017 or if it opened in like 2018, 19.
Yeah, okay.
No, it was definitely before then. But anyway, Jolly, House of Smith, top.
Yeah.
I used to try and go there in trainers.
Yeah.
And they always used to make me take them off.
Take them off, innit? Do you know what I mean?
And put heels on. I always used to have to go out with like heels in my bag.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because then over time I would notice that obviously a lot more students started to go out in trainers and places became a bit more you know, accepting of a girls going out in flats. Well, not flats, but like trainers and stuff.
Trainers, yeah.
But God, yeah, I remember I used to be like just outside talking to security, like, when I'm going, I'm changing my shoes anyway. Like, if you make me put heels on, what is the point?
That is true.
But yeah, I just did you have the same problems or did you just do whatever?
I think I just went in. Like, there was like a few times I'd wear heels and I feel like my friends would just like laugh at me because they're just like,
you're
conforming. You know what I mean? You
just
look weird. Like, it just doesn't work. Like, for me per se. Like, don't get me wrong, I'd love to wear a nice pair of heels now.
Yeah.
But I also like, it would have to come out of a choice and I'd have to wake up and be like, oh, today, you know, I want to look cute. 100%. I want to wear a dress. Like, it's not like everyday tracksuit, like, oh my God, I never want to get my legs out. Like, I love going gym. I want to like, do you know what I mean? Like, I like to like, I like being feminine. But I think that there's
on
like
your own terms.
Exactly. That's it. Like,
exactly the same. It's like even sometimes like now, if people see that I post picture in heels or a dress, like, I was wearing a dress yesterday actually at the event. Yeah. And a lot of people are like, oh my God, you're in a dress. Yeah. And I'm like, I do dress feminine. Do you know what I mean? Like I can also like I do enjoy dressing up and wearing heels, but I'm not gonna wear them just because you want me to wear them or you think that I shouldn't be allowed to come like into a dark club.
What?
Because what are people going to be staring at my shoes? You know what I mean? Like, no way.
And more time, like if you wear a nice pair of trainers, you're gonna get more compliments. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and they're probably more expensive than a pair of heels anyway. So.
Listen, the amount of times I've been like, if I'm like wearing a tracksuit or like got my hood up, it might be raining, or sometimes I just like to wear my hood up. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm not trying to always like just
show face.
Yeah, literally. Like, I'm not trying to be seen. And the amount of times I've been followed by security in shops, and like, I'm like, I like, you're thinking I look like a nitty, but like,
yeah.
Like,
what?
Like,
don't stereotype me.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It is. It's funny. It's funny that streetwear has now streetwear has now got this like duality about it, where depending on what brand of hoodie and joggers you're wearing, it can look the exact same.
I know.
But depending on what brand it is, or if it's unbranded, it's like your status in society is you can go from here to here.
Yeah.
Like it's really interesting.
No, it is. That, you know, that was what my dissertation was about.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, like it was about like the stereotypes of like certain pieces of clothing, like hence like hoodies, tracksuits, etc. And yeah, it's like incredibly interesting, like when you look at it from that like sociological perspective, because it's like there's been like it's literally a piece of clothing. It's like this plant here, but like over time, like systemically, this plant is now got a connotation that if I walk around with it, I don't know why I'm saying this plant.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I had this plant on my head,
that's stupid.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's an object. It's like a garment.
Yeah.
But there's so much that like historically now sits within a hoodie, or sits within like a pair of trainers or a tracksuit or like joggers or whatever. Like, yeah, it's mad interesting when you look at it, and it's like, yeah.
What was the most interesting thing that you kind of learned when you were researching that about your dissertation?
It was just like how, excuse my French, but just fucks like society is, and specifically for, you know, certain individuals and groups within society, of how much that can impact their life from the get-go. Do you know what I mean? And like that's going into whole like different discussion of like race, exactly, oppression, like so much. But it's very interesting when you even look at it on like, I guess, a holistic level of like clothing, and how much that sits within that whole like don't know, argument, if you know what I mean. Like we're all aware as humans of how like wrong it is, society is, and how people kind of have that oppression of like certain groups and individuals. And then but when you look at it from literally like a clothing perspective, it just further like heightens it. And you're just like, how can like me as a white female wearing a hoodie, like I know I said like obviously sometimes you get people looking at you, but they're just stupid. But like I could probably walk around and not be stopped by wearing the tracksuit and like my hood up, but like there's certain people that wouldn't be able to do that. And it's like,
and then their life can literally be
exactly
at risk because of it.
Exactly. It's it's wild.
It is. It's really, especially obviously because a lot of streetwear and stuff comes from the black community, and a lot of it's come from black culture, and it's like the same people that you basically have taken this from are the ones that you're now saying aren't allowed to wear, or the ones that you're kind of just labeling as being criminal or being, you know, violent or whatever, and having these it's very interesting. But so how do you feel about, because we're seeing streetwear go into kind of the more mainstream design and high-end brands, but how do you feel about that? Because I had to do, well, I didn't have to do, but I was on BBC Asian Network, and then we're just talking after Virgil Abloh passed away, and obviously he helped kind of propel streetwear into the designer realm. But personally, I feel like as much as that's a great thing, it is again kind of, like I said, a lot of streetwear came from kind of the black community, and it came from them not necessarily having the financial means because they've been oppressed and because of systemic racism, that they're not allowed to have kind of the funds to acquire a lot of branded stuff or designer stuff. So a lot of them started to wear streetwear and, you know, hoodies and joggers just because that was what they could afford. So now that going into designer and now trying to, like, I find it difficult now to find a good even like no name brand joggers less than like what 50, 60, 70 pounds. So it's like you're now outpricing these people out.
You're like glamorizing it.
So I was just wondered what your opinions for that were.
It's a sticky one, isn't it? Because it's like
they're sticky ones.
It is, because it's like it's unfortunately, like, I guess the world of fashion, like we all love it, but there's also so many things like you kind of mentioned that are like bad about it, because it is like you're taking basically again like a garment or like something that people wear from like a, I guess, accessibility standpoint, and you're adding like a mad price tag onto it, and it's like I don't know, it's a mad one, really. Like it's the same with like trainers, like, do you know what I mean? Like the prices of this stuff's going up and up and up, and it's like it's almost like everyone's forgetting the real reason of why it's there. It's like something like a hoodie or like a pair of joggers, like it's supposed to be a means of comfort, something that like is quite easy to wear. And then when you're kind of taking like easy ready to wear and putting like £500 on it, it's just it's a weird one. It is a weird one, but
consumerism.
I know, consumerism, but that's why, like, capitalism, honestly. Don't get me started.
No, it's mental. Like,
But I'm actually working on a brand at the moment.
Sick.
Yeah.
Your own?
Yeah. So actually what I'm wearing is like the first.
Sick. I love that.
Yeah, it's just a sample. Do
you have a brand name?
Yeah, Plains.
Plains.
Yeah.
From Mains to Plains.
Mains to Plains, yeah.
I love that. So there's not going to be any.
So like the design I'm working on at the moment is like, let me like start from the beginning.
Okay, yeah.
It's funny because I've never spoke, like my close friends will know, that I sat with one of my friends in like Kingston Park about when she started uni like 4 or 5 years ago. Sunny day, was sat there and I was like, listen, Tiva, I've been thinking about starting this brand because I had this big thing where I wanted to make tracksuits that I just wanted to wear. Because I mean,
I've had that exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of girls probably have, because where it comes to like me per se, I wear a lot of menswear because the female tracksuits of not always to my best fit. Like you're seeing more and more brands do it now, but at this time, like
Yeah, because they used to just be like, you'd have the men's and the women's would just be a cropped hoodie.
cropped, yeah, or
And
like
I'm
proper
like,
cuffed bottoms,
yeah,
and like
very
sometimes,
slimline.
and just like colorways, everything, like you know the drill, just dead.
And sometimes it's like I want fitted, but I don't want it to the extent that you've made a woman's one. Like I just
Exactly,
want like a slim line version of a men's one.
exactly. Like, and it's
So
so
I'll
much.
shop planes from now
Yeah,
on.
no, please do. Yeah, and it was that same thing where like you, like as a female, sometimes you want like your bum to look nice,
Yeah.
but then you want the rest of the leg or the stack to be baggy because you want it to full nice on like a Jordan 1 or whatever you're going to be wearing, right? And so this is talking back like years, and the reason it came to like being planes is like I've always had this obsession with taking pictures of planes in the sky. Like people that have me on Insta might notice that I've like, I like if it's sunny or if it's a blue sky, like I've got this obsession. Like I just love how planes look in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And I had like a phone folder called planes, like obviously as in like planes as in the plane. And I was like sat one day like talking to her about it, and I was like, yeah, I want to start like a clothing thing, but I want to call it planes, but like planes as in like PLAINS,
Mm-hmm.
because I want it to be like a play on word of planes, and then also like as in like plain clothing, because I'm not really like, I mean I know I wear like Nike all the time, but I'm not a big logo person.
Mm-hmm.
And my main thing was I wanted to create specifically tracksuits for females that are along the lines of like a good fit, like a man's fit, but like tailored to the female body.
Yeah.
And like I started it back then, like these years ago, and I was like at that point I was like gonna kind of print garments that had these images that I took of like planes in the sky and have it on there. And then you know what it's like, you have all these ideas and it's like life gets in the way. Like I'm not a designer, so like I've always been, I'm very vocal about not liking people that start brands and don't have much knowledge of design. And so like I used to speak to a lot of my friends that did like fashion design, and kind of like there was like a summer probably like straight after that I sat in like my mom's house with my friend who's a designer, and I was like, right, so can you help me like do planes? And like she was like trying to teach me everything, but as much as I'm like a fashion consumer, like I don't know everything about like toiles and like pattern cutting and stuff like that. And so I was very much like, I want to learn about it before I start just making a brand and screen printing. Like I was like very much, I don't want it to be that. So I was kind of like doing this for a while, and then I just like stopped it. And then it was like in the start of lockdown, I was saying to my other friend Nicole, who I used to work with, that like I really wanted to start planes again. And I basically showed her all the work that I'd had from years ago, and she was just like, fuck it, like let's just do it. So then we really got on it.
We love a fuck it.
Let's just do it. Do you know what I mean? They're the best moments. Like just fuck it. Like because just like not to quote Nike, but
yeah,
you just got to do it, innit? Like just do it, because like I'm the only one stopping myself.
Yeah.
I'll like could sit and speak to you for 27 hours about all of these ideas that I have for planes, but then I'm like,
no one's gonna do it.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. So yeah, we got our heads together. Like thankfully, like my boyfriend comes from design, so like that's very helpful for me. And yeah, we've just like been working on it in the background, but I'm very big on not wanting to say anything until I have like
something to show
to
for
back.
it. Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought,
Now
you know
look,
what? Now
you're
let me
wearing
just
it.
yeah, like this is obviously, so this is a sample, so it's like there's some alterations and stuff, and then like I said, I've got another one that I'm actually going to send off to the manufacturers, that where I've actually integrated like obviously like my plain logo onto like the garments. But yeah, man, like I want everyone to like, I want all girls to just be walking around in like plain tracksuits, because I just think
sick.
It's just like it's there. We know we need it.
Yeah,
but it's
such
not
a
there
huge
yet.
gap in the market for it.
Exactly.
It is. It's crazy, to be honest. Like, I don't know. You would think that over time, like, there's definitely been a journey for female tracksuits and stuff throughout the past few years. But yeah, just it's like nobody's made just the perfect one.
The perfect one. Yeah.
Like a lot of them are sick. And even just a lot of menswear is getting maybe not as baggy or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm very excited
Yeah.
to see what you come out with. What's the estimated release date then, do you think? Have you given
I
yourself
really
a
want it to be for
timeline?
summer. Like, I want it to be for summer this year. Like, I wanted it to, because like I said, it was like when was lockdown started? 2020, innit?
Yeah.
We were like on it, and then obviously like I just had the madness of life and stuff, so I just stopped doing like anything that wasn't like something that I was doing right at that moment in time.
Yeah.
But yeah, revisited it this year, and I think that like now I've got a bit of like smoke in my I'm completely making a saying
Fire
up
in your
now.
belly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
smoke in my what?
Smoke in your pipe.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's there. Like I just like I said, I'm stopping myself from
Yeah.
doing it. So yeah, hopefully by summer, man, because I really like from like a content perspective, like I've got it all there. Um, like I could literally describe to you what this first campaign will look like. Like it's so like it's in my dreams,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I just yeah, but I'm very big on I want because I've done a menswear and like a women's tracksuit, right? And like I said, there's a couple like alterations and stuff that I want to get sorted. Because for me, I want it to be the perfect fit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to just be doing it for the sake of doing it. So I guess it's like you don't want to rush that process.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like months are going on, years are going on, and I'm seeing like some other brand pop up doing a similar aesthetic, and I'm just like, listen, like if I don't like do it now, then it's always gonna be like a oh yeah, I was gonna do that, you know.
Yeah,
Do
yeah,
you
yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean? And
yeah,
then
yeah.
so for me, it's like, yeah, like come on, Edie, like just do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I will be one of them bitter like old women at the
I
events.
had
Like,
that idea.
yeah, I was gonna do it because I find it like, you know, like this whole industry, we see things all the time pop up, and I'm like to my boyfriend, like, wasn't I gonna do something like that? Or like, doesn't that look like play? And I'm just like, Edie, shut up, man.
And you
'Cause, like,
can't even do it after someone else has done it because
exactly,
then it's like, oh, everyone's just
exactly.
gonna think I copied or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. So
Just take the L. But
that's
no,
it.
sick. I think, yeah, I look very much forward
Yeah,
to that. That'll be
you'll be getting one
awesome.
straight away.
Ah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially because, like, again, on the back of people making brands, it's like a lot of people just like come out with a clothing brand, which obviously big up anybody that does anything for themselves. But obviously, you're somebody that you have been wearing this style of clothing for such a long time that it's like, if anyone's got to know what
Yeah.
someone like, it's we can have faith in your
Yeah,
product.
I hope so.
Like you, I'm sure they've been very
But that's
much
the
tried
thing.
and
I think
tested.
like a lot of successful brands, like if you speak to designers, it's like why they've made the brand is they're making clothes for themselves, and it's like I'm making something because I can't go to a shop now and buy it. Do you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
think that like as long as I'm making it to my expectation, like if no one wants to wear it, no one wants to wear it. At least I can wear my plain tracksuits every day.
Yeah,
And like,
at least I'll have an abundance.
do you know what I mean? Yeah, I'll be wearing them, and like that's what matters. And then hopefully, like, where a lot of people are like-minded in what we like and stuff. Like, I hope obviously that other people have the same satisfaction out of just putting on a good tracksuit that is well made and is like, yeah, just a nice like plain tracksuit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sick. Planes.
So, planes. See, it's got a ring to
It honestly,
it's got
it's
a
a
ring
very
to
sick
it.
name. It's a very sick name.
Thank you.
So you fell in love with photography through uni then?
Yes.
After you did your internship, or your placement, I think it's called, not an internship. Yeah. So you've been on a journey through photography because you have done some very prestige campaigns. Done a lot. Can you just tell us a bit more about that and maybe talk about some of your favorite like shoots that you've done?
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of my favorite shoots are actually like personal projects. Because I do think there's that weird thing of like why you get into something. So like I said, I kind of picked up a camera and just wanted to shoot like my friends, or like I said, like real people like doing real things. And I think that there has been elements of that from like a client perspective of what you get booked for, but like brands are there to make content to push products. Do you know what I mean? And where there's not always, I guess that freedom of creativity when you're shooting for something specific, there is in elements, and it's like, it's sick. I love working with brands so much, but it's like, I think when you're doing something for yourself and you're like, there's no like, oh, you need to get this shot, or you need to get the product looking like this, and or you need, do you know what I mean? I think so. A lot of my favorite stuff where I get a buzz is like if I just wake up one day and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna organize this shoot next week, like in Hackney next to my house, and I'm just, and like stuff like that. So I think that's where I get a lot of my buzz, and I try to do that as much as I can amongst like getting booked for stuff, because it's very easy to like just start be like, oh, I want to get booked, because it's your job. So I think it's very important to remember like why you're using a camera and why you're making content that you want to make. So yeah, I definitely say like my favorite shoots are those personal, like just moments that you're like lying in bed and you're like, oh, this will be sick, or you see something and you're like, oh, I'm gonna like, don't know, just go out and do it. Like the stuff that I do with Zeph, that little boy, like that, for example, like it's just sick because I just literally like street casted him, so to speak. Like he was just in a Nike store with his mum and his auntie in it, like a little like bubba at this point, just running around. Like he's obviously the cutest kid.
I actually saw a really cute boy on the tube when I was coming over here, and
Did
I was
you?
like, I wish I was Edie. At least I could say to him like, I think you should be like a little model, because he was adorable.
Yeah, you've always got to be on the lookout.
I would have just been a creep if I said that. I can hook you up with somebody, little man.
That's the thing though. Like I remember when I went up to his like mum and auntie, I'm not gonna lie as well, like I feel like I was just like, shall I do this or is this really weird? But I just had this moment and I was just like, he could be a star. He was just running around like just like being a kid, like, but he just had this look, and he was wearing like a full Nike look and these little Air Forces, and I was just like to my friend like, oh my god, like I need to shoot him. And thankfully, obviously, like big up his mum and his auntie, they were like obviously so nice, and I formed like a relationship with them now. But that, for example, it was like, you're kind of like, it's a weird thing, like I've said, oh, XYZ, I take pictures, like here's my email, like blah blah blah, and then I organize. I think the shoot was like 2 days later. Met him at the Nike store, just like bopped around, because like you're conscious, like it's like a little kid. He's like, he don't really care if I'm like taking a picture of him for Nike or not, like, do you know what I mean? Like he's just like thinking, where's my sweets? And so like it's a difficult one, so you're like trying to shoot really quickly, and obviously the first time I've actually seen him, but like he was just a star. Like I was just like when I got those images back of that first shoot, I was just like, nah, like this kid, he needs to get like
blow.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And like it's my mission now. It's like, and obviously where I've like now got a relationship with his family, and obviously him, like he's actually like my little mate now, innit? And he's getting older, and it's just nice to see. And I guess for them to have that documentation of like growing up, like
just a journey through photos.
Yeah, because he's starting to look so much older, and I'm like, oh, like you're getting big.
He's adorable.
He's cute as hell,
and
man.
it has such a story behind it. Like
That's
now it's like, regardless of what image you look at, it's always gonna be, oh god, I just remember him.
Yeah,
in the Nike store.
yeah, exactly. And I think that something like that, like for me, is like I love that.
That means a lot more than just being booked on any
exactly But yeah, Nike need to hurry up and hook him up, man, because
he's gonna do big things.
Do you know what I mean?
He won't be able to afford him soon.
Exactly. But
sick.
yeah, that's like something that I like. And then obviously there's been like amazing moments where it's those moments where you're like, oh my god, I didn't think I'd do this. Like even like the first time I got booked by Nike, it was like always a goal of mine. And again, I self-shot something where I got loads of clothes from Nike to do it. And yeah, I just like shot like a group of like 4 guys that I just like kind of messaged on Insta and was like, let's do a shoot. And yeah, again, self-shot, like self-styled, just made up really for no purpose, wasn't getting put out anywhere. Shot something really nice, and then those images started circulating within Nike, and then it was like 6 weeks later, oh, you're right, like, can we book you for this? And I was just like, see, like, you have to kind of put yourself there without like,
Yeah,
know.
like giving yourself the position almost that you would like to get into.
Exactly. Yeah. And yeah, because you like people don't realize like brands are watching.
Mm-hmm.
They're always watching, and it's like sometimes people ask me like, "Oh, how did you get that?" And I'm just like, for me, it was never. Don't know.
You didn't go out and seek something.
Yeah. Like I was like obviously like around the Nike world,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's just like one person might see it, and then they might show it to them, and then it's like these things can happen very quickly, which is quite cool. But obviously, yeah, you just got to kind of put yourself out there, like.
Yeah.
Just shoot as if you're shooting
100%.
for Nike, and then Nike will want you. Do you know what I mean?
It's almost like, obviously, Instagram
Mm.
and social media just as a whole. It's like people can use it to however they want. So to some people, it can be just like a portfolio. It's like instead of you waiting for them to give you an opportunity to be like, oh, we want you to style a shoot and we want you to kind of for the vision to be this. It's like, if you were going to book me, let me show you what I would have created, type of thing.
Yeah,
I feel like
100%.
that's kind of how you used your platform to get you into these spaces. But yeah, it's sick. And also, for sure, people don't know who's watching, because it's like, again, with social media, I don't like to always go back to it, but I do feel like it plays such a huge role. And I think it's really changed people's perception, because it's like a lot of the people that are doing like big things are not people that you would look at their pages and they have like insane number. Like I know like really good producers or directors, for example, and it's like you go on their Instagram and they've only got a few hundred people that they actually like their real life brethren.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're going to meet them and you're going to look online, you're probably not thinking they're doing anything, but meanwhile they've like casted this your favorite film that you released like last year type of thing. And yeah, even for myself, it's like you do never know who's watching. Like, and it can obviously get discouraging if maybe you feel like you should be at a place that you're not. But it is just literally like people can come across you wherever. So you always just have to put out the most authentic version of yourself, because it's like the only thing that changes, the only difference between me and somebody else is like my personality or like what's in my head. Like fundamentally everybody, if they're given a brief, like a specific brief, and you're told exactly what to do, we can all make the same thing, but there's always going to be a slight flair, like a slight difference just on what an individual can bring to it.
Facts, dropping facts.
But yeah, I just came off the back of speaking on a panel, so I'm all like,
well, you're good, and you're so Welsh as well. I can't get it. Honestly, it's like back in my head.
Yeah, no, sick, because that's how I so I first heard of you through the Nike stuff that you were doing. I need to start saying Nike.
I know, no, I mean it's people just say it like a lot. To be fair, most British people say Nike.
I know, but I want to get paid.
I know. That's the thing, though. I just remember, like, when I started working with Nike, it is like you have to say Nike. Do you know what I mean?
You can tell. You can tell.
But like most people, even people that sometimes work there, they'll say Nike because it's just like it's a British.
Yeah. No, but I do try and say things how they're supposed to be pronounced. So it's gonna take unlearning, but
yeah. You guys are gonna
see the transition through the podcast. I'm gonna start saying Nike.
Yeah.
But no, dope. There's also Mira Kalista. Is that how you pronounce her name? She's a photographer. She recently shot you. Yeah. That was sick. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, no.
When it's like a shooter becomes
I know.
the one.
I know. It's a weird one. Like I'm really not like a person in front of the camera. Like
you obviously touched on it when you spoke about the fact that you didn't become the next Ed Sheeran.
Listen, if I was just more confident, I'd be up there now.
Do you have any regrets for that? Do you wish that you do you want to build on your confidence? Or have you found that you're actually quite happy being behind the scenes, so to speak?
Yeah, definitely. I think like something that my mum always says, is because like my mum's very shy, but like my dad obviously was so confident, and like he would literally like stand up in front of 10,000 people and like love every second of it. And I never got it because I feel like I'm like born with obviously split, but like where my mum's shy, I always had a lot more of that. And like literally when I was like a young girl, like if you now said to me like hi, I'd be like, And I was just so
Aw.
like, I literally just be on my dad's leg like this, like from like even when I'm like 16, just like very shy.
Yeah.
But I've always known I had a level of like, it's not confidence, but whatever
Self-belief.
like whatever the opposite to shy is. Like what would that word even be? Would it be confident?
Confidence.
Yeah, but it's like not confidence in the way of like,
See,
oh,
I think
I'm
that
sick. Like,
yeah.
but like just
More just contentment.
yeah. That's
Content in who
a
you
nice
are.
word. I always knew I had elements of it because like if I was like with my friends, like I love a chat. Like I love chatting. I love to speak, and I'm like quite like I can be quite loud, but like I've always so I knew I had it in me, but it's always
Yeah.
been like only if I'm like super like comfortable, like
Comfortable.
I've known you for years and I'll chill with you. But then I think like you start to I don't know, maybe it's just getting older and like things happen and you start to change and stuff. But I do feel like I'm also conscious, obviously, like since my dad passed, of like trying to almost carry his like level of confidence. Do you know what I mean? You know, like you almost feel like you like owe it to them because my dad always saw it in me, and my dad was always like, "Listen, like you should be more confident in yourself. Like you're talented, you're good, you're this, you're like literally would just make me feel like safe and content and happy."
Yeah.
And I feel like obviously where all of that madness has happened, it's like I almost subconsciously feel like I kind of owe it to myself
Yeah.
and to him to like strive for like greatness and try and get where I want to be. And I think that you inhibit yourself by being shy sometimes. So it's like you have to sometimes put yourself out of that like comfort zone, and then over time it becomes more natural. So like me just sitting on this now, like I'm not thinking about it, it's just normal, like I'm just like chilling with you.
Yeah.
But it's like if this was like 3 years ago, I'd be like what do you want to talk about? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just think over time like I'm learning to be more I guess confident, because it's like I want to get places, man, and it's like if I just stay behind the scenes, like I could get somewhere in some aspects. But I think that don't know, I feel like I've got a lot to say, and I feel like I want to start being able to say stuff. Do you know what I mean? And I think that there needs to be an element of putting yourself out there in order to do that, in order to speak to people and touch more people. So yeah.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Just touching on what you mentioned about your dad.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do think that when people believe in you
Mhm.
more than you believe in yourself, you do feel like, all right, okay, if someone's put this much trust and time and just,
Mhm.
people, although he was your father, it's like the amount of time that someone invests in trying to make you believe in yourself.
Mhm.
It's like you do feel like, all right, now I have to live up to that, or I at least just have to now believe that of myself.
Yeah.
Because it's like you've gone out of your way to do that and to kind of
Exactly.
like build me up to
Yeah.
become something.
Exactly.
It's going to be a disservice if I then do nothing with it, type of
Exactly.
thing.
And it's like he's I feel like I always say like he saw something in me when other people didn't. That's not to say like other people in my family or whatever, but like he was always so like don't know, man. He just like the love he gave me is just like second to none. Like you can't compare it. And I think with that, he instilled like that level of knowing your worth and starting to like look at yourself and be like, I am someone that like we do deserve stuff. And also he always would say like no dreams too big. Do you know what I mean? Like we've all got to have dreams and we've all got to have like goals. And he like I mean a lot of people probably heard this as a kid as well, but it's like you can be anything you want to be. It's true. Like you could wake up tomorrow and be like, I want to be the prime minister, and like that might sound so like far off, but you literally could. Not that like you probably want to be like fuck that, but it's
No.
like, probably not, but it's those things that often seem like unachievable. Like we could do anything. Like you could sit here tomorrow, maybe not tomorrow, it'll take time, but like a year's time and be like, oh, I'm gonna be a millionaire.
Yeah.
And
whoa. Don't say a year's time. next month.
Yeah.
But
what I
yeah,
mean, though?
no, I
Like,
hear you.
it's-
And a lot of the time, at least if, sometimes you might aim for something and it doesn't work out.
Mhm.
Like I might aim, for example, when I was having my thoughts, I'm going to make a tracksuit line.
Mhm.
I might have tried to do it and it probably would have flopped because you know what, I have a lot of things that I'm trying to do. I
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
have put enough
Yeah.
time in it it should have been there. But maybe through that failing, I would have made connections. I would have done something. And then it's like something else can come from that, which wouldn't have happened
Mhm.
otherwise. Like there's a lot of people that I reach out to, whether it's to come on my podcast or whether it's like to get connections or whatever. And that might not happen. They might not have the time to come on their podcast. Or some people unfortunately don't feel like they are deserving to come on the podcast. But then it's from that they might connect me to 5 other people that otherwise I wouldn't have spoken to, and from that, something can come.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think a lot of the time, like, people shouldn't be scared of something not working out as they imagined, because we can't always imagine the best scenarios. Like sometimes something's gonna happen that you didn't even put into your mind. Like when the thing came with Nike for guest designing a shoe, I never actually had a dream that one day I would design a shoe. Like to me that was so unattainable that I did not waste any of my living moments thinking that was gonna happen. And then it did. So it's like we can't even comprehend some of the amazing things and opportunities that are probably gonna come to us in life. So you might as well just try and do whatever you're doing. But you mentioned that you want to be able to like speak up more. So just briefly touching on it, what is it like being obviously a woman in your industry, in your field, and like, is there times where you've had to speak up about stuff, or is there times where you feel like you did and now you're gonna do that going forward, or has it been very accepting of women? I don't know.
I don't know. I think like us all as females know, like we know the story, like we know what it's like being a woman, like, and we know that we have to work harder to be seen, like particularly in these creative fields. Like it's almost something that's so like drilled in society that you just do it with like a subconscious now. Like we just know that like if I walk into a room full of men, that they're probably gonna be like, who's that? Or like, where unless you're a certain type of female where you can come in and be like, hi, like XYZ, I'm here for this, you're probably gonna feel intimidated by being around a lot of men. Like in production, for example, it's a very male dominated world, and like it's why it's sick where we see like female led production agencies now and stuff like that. But that's talking now in like 2022. Do you know what I mean? Like we're young people. We're lucky that we're almost coming up in a time where people are speaking out more, like society's a bit more woke and we are trying to challenge this stuff. But yeah, think of like people before us, mums, grandparents, etc. And it's like, yeah, it's just it's a mad world with like being a female and feeling like you have to work harder just to be in a space and stuff.
I feel like you always have to prove that you deserve to
exactly
be in that space.
Yeah, and it's like it's challenging because it's like we kind of said, there's so many different types of females, and I think unless you're like very what's the word, like extrovert and like kind of like confident, I guess, going back to that, it's like it is difficult because I think a lot of that comes to men more naturally. Like even like for example, like last night I was at the pub, and it's like we was like out for my friend's birthday, and me and my other friend were saying like it's funny that like there was this guy that I didn't know who was with us, and like him and my boyfriend just straight away after 20 seconds you're just seeing them like exchange Insta, like yo bro, like blah blah blah, and me and my friend yeah, do you know what I mean? We were like, like girls just ain't like that. Like I feel like a guy could walk into a place and like become boys with the guy like straight away. I don't know, there's just something like I feel like men are just more.
Yeah, it's because they haven't been taught to compete with each other.
Exactly. Whereas like females, like even if you come into a space with other females, there's always that level of like, oh like what's she wearing? Or like, you know what I mean? And like,
or even if it's not visibly there, unfortunately, yeah, there is a part of you which has to question
Yeah.
people's what's the word? People's motives.
Yeah.
Or like, if is there a tone in the way that she's
Yeah,
complimenting my
yeah.
outfit? Like, did it just because, unfortunately, even if like you can be around the nicest like women in the world, but society is just
They put women like we need to be against each other
Mhm.
instead of like together.
yeah.
And I think that it's an exciting time we live in at the moment within the creative field, where we're obviously seeing brands, organization, groups, like female-led, focused, popping up more and more. And again, I'm hoping that it's starting to shift stuff, but there's like still so much in history that it's like would need to be like unlearned and like rewritten for there to be a change. Like, yeah, it's just mad. Like, I don't even know all the statistics and that nowadays, but it's still that like obviously females like get paid less, etc., etc. And yeah, even though like we said, all this stuff is becoming progressive, I could still get booked tomorrow and be on a set and probably be like 2 out of 20 people of us are female.
Yeah.
And it's like that thing where you're so used to it that it is a subconscious thing. I don't necessarily always there thinking, oh, like I'm the only girl, but I think it does have an effect, like, and there needs to be more done for females to like just like take over that space, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, more time we're better than men anyway at what we do. So it's just like, I think females just need to have more, we all need to have more confidence. It's the same with like money, right? I know so many guy photographers that like might get like a message of, oh, can you book this? Like, can we book you for this? And straight away they're like, yeah, but what's the budget? Or like, how much am I getting paid? Whereas like, I would never, like, I find it uncomfortable. Even like, I'm chasing invoices since September and I feel bad chasing you for my invoice.
Yeah.
But if that was a man, like, a man would be on the phone, like, run me my money. Whereas I'm like, hey,
I hope
like,
you're well.
I hope
if
you're
you
well.
don't mind,
Yeah,
I was
like,
just...
I'm really sorry, but like, sorry to bother you, but like, can
Yeah.
you pay me from like 7 months ago? And it's just
crazy.
like, that in itself is like, yeah, even like guys that I'm around, like my friends or whatever, they'll just be like, so just ring them and ask for the money. And I'm like,
You
but
don't
you say that,
understand.
but yeah, like, I can't. I feel like it's mad, but it's that kind of thing where men just have that, don't know, like
It's also because it's like, if it's a woman saying, oh, they're gonna think I'm annoying, or they're gonna think that I'm stuck up, or they're gonna think
and
that,
like they
I'm
won't
a bitch.
book me again.
Yeah,
like,
the fear of not being booked must be especially when you're like working for yourself or freelance, whatever. That must like keep you from doing a lot,
doing a
chasing
lot,
a lot,
man.
and saying
I'm
a
just
lot.
like,
But even like for International Women's Day, a lot of people were reaching out to do stuff.
sorry.
No, sorry, go for it. I was trying to see where it was so I could hand it to you. But it's like a lot of brands were reaching out, and some of it does feel like a tick box exercise, and they do expect like they do expect a lot of women to work for free, or it's like just the things that they say, it's like, oh, we're giving you an opportunity, and it's like, you're trying to pitch this to me that you're giving me an opportunity, or you want me to get you, to get a whole group of females for you to showcase so that you can pretend that you're about Women's Day, but you're not even wanting to pay them. And it's just like, that's unfortunately it's like, now you put me in a position where I have to basically say to you that that's wrong, and it's going to hinder our future relationships. But if nobody tells you this, you're just, then nothing's going to change in the industry. Like, women are just going to continue to be undervalued. But yeah, it's very unfortunate to see, like, especially like, I don't mind so much when brands don't talk about it, because then it's like, at least you're not being a hypocrite. But when it's like, because it aren't, like, I even know certain brands that have done female focused campaigns, but it's like, they might have an Indian girl and they're like, oh, can you like put mehndi on your hands, and like just wear bangles, like, and just do the most, and it's like, no, it's like, stop trying to get me to tick boxes.
I know, literally, that's what it is.
And then it's just like, well, then you're now trying to promote it like you're so female friendly, but it's just one campaign out of how many do you do? Like, the hypocrisy, I think, bothers me more in the industry than anything else.
100%. 100%. Like, I worked on a female like actual brief, I guess. So like the output was like focused on female, everything was meant to be female, and it was all men that shot it. And do you know what I mean? It's like things like that, like we're putting like in front of the camera, like it's all female, blah blah blah, like this is a female franchise, this is whatever. And it's like, but like it's a man directing it, you got a man DOP, you've got a man digi-op, you got a man gaffer, you've got a man stylist. You like, there's so many women that are talented at so many different like jobs within every field. Like, if you're gonna say you're about it, be
Hire
about it
them.
360. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't just
Pay them.
and like get like young females to come and do internships with you. Get them to get some experience. Like, just don't sorry.
No, swear your heart out.
Don't like fucking say that it's a female thing when it's a whole man team that is like shot it.
Yeah, 100%. Because then it's like when it comes out and people see that it's not actually.
Yeah.
Because you can always tell.
Yeah.
No matter how hard brands try, you can
Yeah.
always tell, because a guy can't tell a woman's story as well as a woman can. That's just facts. Like, it's never gonna happen. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell you what it's like to be a man, and you can't sit here and tell me what it's like to be a woman. Like, you haven't had to live it.
Exactly.
So it's just like, and if you're gonna say you're about it, then hire the people, like pay them. Even if you just hire them for one project, like just put your freaking money where your mouth is. Like, you have the money.
Yeah.
You
Lord,
have the
they
budget.
have the money. You know they have the money.
Because I know so many girls just in the industry, they're being asked to do things, and it's like they're being promised shoes or they're being promised whatever, and when the time comes, they're not given anything. And it's like, if I send you an invoice, now you're gonna probably bitch about me behind the scenes, and nobody's gonna want to work with me. But
yeah,
I know you're not doing this to the guys that you're getting.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's jarring.
Yeah, it's the same with like all of this shit, man. When people are trying to like, brands are like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this for Black History Month, shoot all these campaigns, but then you've got like a white male shooting it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, just make it make sense. Like, yeah, that's one thing. Like, yeah, the industry really does need to fix up on.
No, but I think it's great what you were saying in terms of like our generation, because we are around a lot of talent, like, and we're around a lot of people that are really trying to be the change that they want to see. Like, they're really pushing for stuff. So that's sick.
It's an exciting time.
It's a very exciting
time to be alive.
All right, Jersey. Izzy. Are you doing the shoots for planes? Sick.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
I was just wondering.
No, that would be.
So then how did you get into styling? And who do you style? Who are you the stylist for, if you want to give them a shout
out? Obviously, yeah, I do a lot of styling for Nux at the moment. Big Nux. Yeah, he's obviously sick. Like, I feel like everyone that knows Nux, like, knows his music. Like, I've never heard anyone say anything bad. It's always like, he's so underrated. He's this, he's that. And like, I just hope he obviously gets the recognition that he's deserving of, and it definitely seems like it's going that way. Like, this year, he's got a lot of good stuff coming out. We've shot a few videos, like 2 of them are dropped already, but there's a couple more coming soon. Obviously his album, I guess, is going to be dropping soon. But yeah, he's, I guess, like, from a artist perspective, the one that I work with the most. There's been a couple other artists that I've like done bits with, and I'm doing some stuff upcoming with. But I don't know if I can say.
No, that's fine.
But then
have to wait and see.
Yeah, you have to wait and see. But yeah, no, it's cool, man. Like, I love working on like music videos, especially when it's like a sick team. Like the ones that I've done with Nux, it's been like the same team throughout for all of them. Like, shout out Helena, who's like the creative director. Yeah, just working and like bringing things to life from when it's like very early in the stages to actually like shooting on the days, on like, yeah, it's cool. It's nice doing like music videos instead of just doing like shoots.
Static shoots, yeah.
Yeah, because there's characters and stuff. Like, that's some of my favorite things of like, obviously I love styling like artists, but then when you've got like other like actors or like people like in the casting that you need to style, The sickest one was for like Nux's hide and seek, where it was meant to be like we were shooting like kids, and it was like the young Nux, so obviously it had to be like back in the day.
Yeah.
So I had to get like actual like garms and shoes that were from like the early 2000s.
Did you get them from Archive?
Yeah, no license.
Yeah.
And yeah, like that for me like makes me excited, because it's like, okay, cool, we're actually telling of a specific like moment in time, and that's some of my favorite style. Do you know what I mean? So like putting them in like them old like Harachis, like for me, like
kid in a candy shop.
yeah, it's just sick. Like I love it. So yeah, I'm lucky that I get to style like stuff like that, and yeah, it's just cool, man. Like I like bringing like stories to life through styling.
Yeah.
And I just like I like nice stuff. Like I like nice clothes. I like how things can look different on each people, and I like, yeah, it's just cool, man.
I just think it's sick that you style men.
Yes.
Or like you style boys. Like
yeah.
I love when girls are like hired to to style guys. Like it's very obviously like if it's women are supporting women and styling women, that's sick. But I just think it's an ode to the fact that we don't have to be in a box. Like you don't just have to hire women to do to style women. Like women can dress a lot better than guys and style guys.
Yeah.
In menswear.
And I guess that's the thing. Like if you kind of look at my journey, it has been predominantly like men. Like I started definitely like my first like I guess photo series and like book and stuff that I did was just of men in like South London, and it's like from that I think a lot of the stuff I do get booked for and the work I do is like male dominated, which I guess is just the way that the cookies crumbled, because it's like that's very much my style and it all kind of like fits together. But yeah, it would be, I think for me, like it would be cool to like branch out into doing more like women's stuff.
Do you think it would be more of a challenge for you to do women's stuff then? Or if it was in the same bracket of streetwear, not so much?
Yeah, I guess if it was still in the realms of like what I do at the moment, it would be alright. But yeah, there's a whole there's a whole different game with women.
Sexy.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean.
Boudoir
like,
shoot.
Don't you just can't book me, because they're just like, and that's what I'm saying. Where like I can't really back myself as like being a stylist, because I feel like
no, that's not true. I don't agree with you, because I feel like you until you put yourself in a position where, because it's all about your eye, right? It's like you know what goes together. So if someone told you, I need to know what goes together for like a sexy shoot. I hate the word sexy. But unless it's in a Skepta voice, I don't like the word sexy. But like if somebody gave you that, I definitely feel like you could go out and style it if you wanted to, and if you had to. Like
I'd give it a go.
It just hasn't fallen on your lap.
Yeah, I guess it's like it's the same as like photography, isn't it? Like you're like have certain people that shoot certain realms of photography, but then you wouldn't book them for an e-com shoot or whatever. So yeah, I guess it's just like about being what you're about. So
yeah, and if you do what was it, jack of all trades, master of none, it's like at least you can perfect the bracket that you do put yourself in, if you choose to be in one.
Exactly. Which I think is like a whole thing about this generation, isn't it? It's like we all have like, we can wear loads of different hats at once, which is sick because it means you're doing so much. But yeah, it's important to give a lot to some of them, because then, like you said, it's like what was the thing you just said?
Jack of all trades, master of none.
You don't want to be one of them.
Yeah.
Which is very easy to do now, because like we could all pick up our like iPhones and start doing something, and like do you know what I mean? But I think
CEO of
yeah you know them like bios where it's like /
yeah.
Then it's like Dubai, London, LA, like you went to Dubai for one holiday.
I hurt a lot of feelings here.
Sorry.
No, yeah, for sure. Do you find it like, do you find it hard to stay inspired and to stay creative? Just because personally, I don't know, maybe it's because of maybe I'm not as creatively inclined or whatever, but I do find it a bit taxing having to come up with new ideas and stuff. So one, do you struggle with that? And two, where does most of your inspiration come from then? Because you're doing a lot of creative things, especially like your main part-time job, obviously you're doing it for brands and stuff. It's like, how do you remain inspired? Is it just how how do you remain inspired, and does it take a toll on you mentally to remain creative?
Yes, definitely yes to the second one. Like, we all work at like 1,000,000 miles an hour in it, because you feel like you have to keep producing, otherwise you get forgotten about. And it's that kind of catch-22 of like, you just, if you're not putting out work, it's like someone else is then going to be on the radar of someone. Do you know what I mean? And so you feel inclined that you have to be, but then like you will get burnt out. Like, we've all been burnt out, and it's like, it's really hard and it's difficult to find that balance. Like, I'm still trying to find it, of like giving everything 110%, because I don't like to do something and I don't give it everything. So I'm like, for example, when with the agency, it's like I'm really trying to just be the best that I can and like produce the best work, which of course takes a lot of energy and takes a lot of time. And then it's like, I might go from being there to then, oh, I need to be like the other side of London to give a shoot, like to do a shoot or whatever I might be doing. And it's like, I don't then want to get to that and be like not giving it 110%. So you're like consistently just like going and going, and you get to points like, example last week, where I'm like sick in it, and I just had to take a moment. And I was just like, listen, like I won't get better if I just carried on going into work and carried on like shooting last week, because your body knows like to stop. And it's difficult, but then the other like side of my brain's like, I need to keep creative and I need to keep inspired. But I think it's one where you can't force it. Sometimes it's like you're pushing yourself into, oh my God, I haven't shot for a while, or I haven't done this, I need to do this. And I think unless things are natural, it never really goes well. So always like, I'm always on the lookout to keep inspired. You know what I mean? Like, you got to read stuff, you got to learn stuff, speak to different people, like just like observe the world. Like a lot of my inspiration comes, I guess, from just like walking around. Like, I might walk to work and then in my phone I'll be like writing stuff, because like I love to write, and it's like I could make like even like my notes are madness. Like if someone went through my notes, they'd be like, this girl is actually tapped. But it's like you'll see something, like you'll be on the bus and you might see one person's face and like think, like in my head I'll think, oh my God, what's their story? And then from there, like suddenly my brain's gone in some mad like process of like trying to direct their story, and then thinking, oh, wouldn't it be sick if like this was shot from here, or like, oh, I wonder if this person would know something. And like, I don't know, my brain's just a bit like that. Do you know what I mean? So I get inspired very easily. That's good. Sometimes I feel like I get like overstimulated. Like I actually think I'm like a child.
So you have to run through all your ideas and pick them out.
Yeah. And then it's like not all of them ever come to surface. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I generally think that I could be like a rap artist. Like I just like literally I will walk down the road and I'm making stuff.
I'll start beatboxing.
Literally. But like I would, if I really like sat there, I'm like, oh my God, I could actually write some sick bars. And like obviously I never would, because I'm not a dickhead.
Ghostwriter.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a dickhead.
But like that's what I thought about sometimes. I'm like, sometimes honestly when I'm in the shower and I'm making up, like I can make up the best pop song, like, or someone like, I don't know, I've never even listened to Dua Lipa, but I could probably like write something sick. And that's like a part of my brain. And then I'm like, okay, Edie, like just come back to life.
Music side of you, I guess.
Exactly.
It's always
maybe
there.
it's gonna come back.
You're meant to be a musician.
Do you know what I mean? Maybe
Knox
that was my
featured.
calling. I feel like, why am I even actually saying this? But it's true. Like this is the type of stuff
happen.
I
this might
think
be
about.
The thing that we look back to.
Listen,
in 5
I feel
years'
comfortable
time.
with this mic. You know, I might have to switch it up.
But that must be how you like. That must be obviously a part of your brain.
Yes,
is kind of filtering all your ideas through being able to like write a song type of thing. Like, that just must be your one part of your creative process.
Yeah, that's it.
If it's still there after all this time, like it must just be a part of you that's how you can filter through something.
That's why like I always say to people, like just write, because like it's never going to be surfaced. Do you know what I mean? Like got like so many notebooks of like just stuff, whether it's like emotional stuff if I feel like I'm going through it, or me thinking that I can write a rap, like, but I just like get things down and I'm just consistently like thinking about something. And so I think the creativity is always going and like the inspiration's always going, but then it's just about like actually, I guess, monitoring it and like whether that weird thing in my head comes into being a project or it's just something that never happens. But I think, yeah, just being true to yourself, because that is just how my brain is. It's been from when I was a kid. Like, I'm just like West, you know what I mean? Like, my brain just is very like quick.
A lot,
It's a lot, like a lot goes on in such a small pea head, you know what I mean? But
under all those cool caps,
under
you
all
got
these
a lot going
I know,
on.
that's why I wear a cap. I got
I would have been very surprised if you didn't wear a cap.
Do you know what? I nearly didn't wear one, and then I was just like, "What am I doing?"
I was like, "Are you all right?
I know.
Are you sure you're not still sick?
Yeah.
What is this?
Is this an imposter? Like, I've been hacked.
You don't have to go check out her cap collection.
Yeah, I do love a cap. Do you know what? I never even used to wear caps. I think with caps, like, once you start wearing a cap, you feel weird without one.
Oh, it's kind of like a safety net.
It is, yeah. Like, even like I'll get my hair done and I'll like go to put a cap on and I'm thinking I've just paid big money to get my hair done nice and I'm just like wearing a cap.
Not with these London prices. I ain't
They're
putting a cap
mad,
on.
isn't it? The London price, like, that's actually so true. I was having this conversation with this guy the other day because he was like, "Oh my days, like my barber's gone up to like 30 quid. I just can't believe it. Can you believe?" I was like, £30. I was like, for me to even get my fringe like
trim
like this, and I could pay like 60 quid. Like it's crazy.
Especially because obviously, so when you was in Newcastle, the hairdressers are not the same prices. They're so cheap compared to down here.
Same with everything, like drinks. Remember you used to get like trebles? And you'd get like, I swear I used to get like 3 trebles on like a Jaeger bomb for like £5.
£5, yeah.
Like, I can't even get water for that in London.
It's mental. It's like water is at least £6.
Do you know what I mean?
It's crazy. Yeah. Cool. Well, I think we've been through a lot. Is there anything that we have missed that you would like to touch on? Any advice that you have to people maybe looking to get into what you're doing? Whether it's photography, doing more of the creative kind of brand side, or styling, even though you don't consider yourself
I'm
a
not
stylist.
a stylist. I'm gonna actually take it out of my bio because I feel like I'm a fraud.
No, don't you dare.
No, I think advice is just like, I don't know, I always feel a bit mad saying advice because again it's that thing of like, I'm not really anything special at all.
Yes, you are.
No.
Yes, she is.
No, like I don't ever look at myself as being worthy of advice to give to someone, but I think what I can say is like, through experience, I can like share knowledge on that kind of experience, and I think that the best thing really is to just get out there and do it. Like, I was having a conversation the other day about how the creative world, like a lot of the stuff that's done in it is quite easy to learn. Like, it's a learning thing. Do you know what I mean? It's not, even with like talents, like you might be sick at taking pictures, like anyone can sit and learn to do that. And like the main thing that kind of carries people is passion. You got to have passion. If you're not passionate about it, like don't bother doing it. Do you know what I mean? Because like me with my music, I wasn't going to get anywhere because I started lacking the passion. But it's like, yeah, passion and just being driven. Because when you're passionate about something, the drive is like natural.
Yeah.
Like you're not even thinking about doing it and you're just like, you give everything your all. And I think that that's like a very important thing. And just, it's very easy to say get your foot in the industry because people are like, but how do you do it? Because it sometimes seems like inaccessible, and it is to a lot of people. But believe me, like as soon as you're in a space where there's like creative roles around you, you can literally go from like A to B, because everything is just a skill set that's learned. And once you have experience, anyone can do it. Like, that is why brands and companies need to start offering valid internships or placements whereby they're paying these young people and giving them opportunity to shadow, opportunity to assist, like, because that's the best way of learning stuff. Like, you can do a lot yourself, and that's why, like I'm saying, the passion and drive needs to be there. You need to like spend your free time trying to learn your craft, or like getting the best you can from your what's the word, like,
Experiences?
yeah, maybe
Or
yeah,
network, maybe?
like do the best that you can with the stuff that you have.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because again, it's a whole other conversation of like, not everyone can just go out tomorrow and like buy an expensive camera. Like, it's just not the reality of life, and you shouldn't have to. But like, do what you can. Like, a lot of people have iPhones now. Like, people have phones, and you can learn stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? You can use stuff like, go on Depop and buy like a £10 point and shoot, and just start to learn like your skill with that, and get your own like niche, get your own craft. But yeah, like, once you're in a space, like whether you get into whatever it is, production, whether you're wanting to get into like an agency, you honestly can learn. Like, you can be a creative director in like 5 years, even coming from no experience of doing that, because like, it's the word's not easy. It's not easy at all, but
it can be learned.
it can be learned, and you can got like, there's so much value in just doing the thing. So as soon as like you have accessibility into a space where you can do it, like, you're a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
And like, that's why these brands, these agencies, these like companies need to open these doors to these younger generations, because it's like, essentially in 5 years to come, they'll be the people that are like controlling everything,
And they need them.
Like, the amount of brands that look to younger people now, and they'll be on their Instagram stealing their stuff. Like, that's what I'm saying. You don't know, people are always watching.
Yeah.
And people are always stealing. And a lot of people that work high up, unfortunately, don't have a lot of knowledge of what is happening right now in the streets around them. And that's why they need to bring in young people that act as like the eyes, the ears, the voice, because a lot of like 16, 17-year-olds, like, they probably know more about branding than a lot of people that work in brands do, because they're the main consumers, and that there's so much like influence that can be taken from speaking to a kid on the street. Like,
yeah.
do you know what I mean? And I think there needs to be more of that. And so I think that's more, I guess, like my opinion on the industry. But I guess like, if you're an individual that's trying to get into it, just keep going, because like, again, nothing happens overnight. The more like you put into your craft, essentially, you're the person that's going to benefit. Like, networking and all that shit's great, but yeah, just, I guess it's back to that belief thing. Like, just believe in yourself, because it's, yeah.
No, you got it. No,
Do you know what I
100%.
mean?
I think that it's really important, like, the main thing of just to have the passion behind you, and that you can pick up a lot of stuff on the job, but at the end of the day, like, you cannot learn to be passionate about something. Like, you're either gonna have it or you're not. And if you don't have it, then it doesn't matter how good you can be at something. Like, if you're not motivated to get up every day and do it, because it's not easy. Like, it's not easy to continue. And again, like with the creativity and burnout and stuff, there's gonna be times where your passion is gonna be the only thing that makes you get out of bed and do it. Like, you could be offered £1 million for a project, but unfortunately, if your brain, like, if you're having a bad day, if you're burnt out, that money doesn't mean anything. It's only going to be the passion that you feel inside of you that's going to be like, all right, cool, like, I'll actually go and I'll do this job. So yeah, I think that's a really important point.
100%.
Well, I think that is all. Have you got an Instagram page for your planes clothing yet?
I do, but it's not public yet.
All right, that's cool. Do you want to shout it out or not?
Not yet.
No? All right, no problem.
Do you know what? Like, yeah. I'm waiting. Like, you'll see it soon.
All right, cool.
You'll see it soon.
No worries. Then in that case, do you want to let the people know where they can check you out?
Yes, yeah. I feel like I need to spell out my name. Is it gonna like pop up on a little thing?
It on the screen,
okay, yeah. Basically, on Instagram, obviously, it's at Edie Dugdale. But yeah, a lot of people don't know how to say it, or when they see it like that, it doesn't read how it is. But it's gonna pop up anyway. So yeah, just you can just look at the thing.
Screen.
yeah, I guess, yeah, Instagram. Obviously, my website is just www.edydugdale.com. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's
Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
I'm not on TikTok, innit? So I can't plug a TikTok. And
I
my
don't have
Twitter's just
TikTok
dead,
either.
so you don't have it.
No, and I
What?
deleted my Twitter years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
You are so Welsh about years. Do you know what I mean? Like, that is a Welsh. Say it again.
Yes.
That's Welsh. Like, I know people from Birmingham and they don't.
Well, I was only living in Birmingham for 4 years, so I didn't have enough time to pick
So
up
do you
the
think it's from
accent.
like Newcastle as well? How long were you in Newcastle at uni?
I was at Newcastle. No. I've been at Newcastle for like, well, since I was 4 to since I was about 21.
Oh.
And I also lived in Paris for a year, but I don't think that didn't have any effect on my accent. I don't know. It's a bit all over the place.
Yeah, but it's so interesting.
But yeah, anyway, so she's a bully. In her spare time, she's also a bully. But on that note, I've been the very Welsh skg.jpeg. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is her story in sneakers. Please make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Please do go check out Edie and all of her work. And yeah, catch you guys in the next one. Bye guys.